How to pick a moisturizer based on your skin type and find one that actually works for you. There's a lot of misinformation when it comes to skin types because in dermatology and in medical aesthetics, there's no real skin type. You see, there's a Fitzpatrick photosensitivity scale, which is how your skin reacts to things like light and damage. But when it comes to oily versus dry versus combination, those actually weren't made up by medical professionals. Those categories were made up by marketers, specifically to sell products, but also to help consumers find the right products for them. Now, while that's great if it actually works, and if you can actually find a product that works for your skin type, it can actually be extraordinarily confusing and overwhelming when companies like Clinique had those little sliders at the malls, and you just ended up buying everything and then breaking out more when you started using their moisturizer, especially if you were acne prone, like 16-year-old me. Well, I wanted to break it down the way I look at it as a medical esthetician and actually share products that are affordable and effective so that you know what to look for. And even if you don't choose any of these, you have the information you need to make a good decision. And actually, if you're thinking of getting a new moisturizer and there's something you've been considering putting in your routine, leave it in the comments, because for the first hour after this video drops, myself and our esthetician on our team, Aya, are going to try our best to respond to some comments and help you figure out, based on your current skin's needs, if the moisturizer you're looking at might be or might not be a fit for you. This is also why you want to make sure that you have those post notifications turned on so you don't miss it when I actually post and reply to the comments. But all of that aside, let's talk about the different skin types and why this is so confusing. Again, some people say, I have acne prone skin or I have wrinkled skin. Those aren't exactly skin types. The way I look at it is on a spectrum. On one side, you have super, super dry skin. When you get out of the shower, it's tight. It almost feels like tissue paper. It's really crackly, and you tend to get a lot of areas of redness and kind of that dry flakiness. Now on the other side, there's oily, aka me. It's greasy. When you get out of the shower, it kind of feels like butter or cookie dough is on your skin, even though you've just washed your face and you haven't put anything else on. And especially throughout the day, your face eats blush and it eats makeup because all of the oil is soaking through your pores. Now, right in the middle is what's called combination skin or balanced skin. Some people call it normal skin, but like all of these things are technically normal to certain extents. So to normalize everything, it's usually called combination or balanced. And you see, here's the thing. You're not born with one skin type versus another. You do have pores on your face that have these sebaceous glands that secrete oil, and how much oil your skin secretes and how large your pores are primarily determined by your genetics and a little bit of lifestyle factors, like if you go out in the sun without sunscreen or if you smoke. But for most people, they can actually shift different places on this scale, especially if you're traveling to a really humid climate or a really dry climate. Now you're probably thinking, well, Cassandra, where do things like acne and wrinkles come in? Those are conditions. Think about it. A wrinkle is a condition that can happen to the skin. Acne or redness from rosacea, that is a condition that can happen to the skin. So you could have oily skin with acne as a condition, or you could have dry skin with rosacea as a condition. And that's why when we're talking about moisturizers and how to pick the right one, we're actually not going to be talking about actives today. We're just going to talk about the things that actually keep your skin the most balanced. And if you're over here on the oily side, helps to bring them over here. And if you're way over here on the dry side, helps them bring them back into balance over here. And of course, if you're smack dab in the middle, just something that's going to work for you, layer well under makeup or sunscreen, and give ingredients to your skin that your skin naturally loves. And let's talk about those ingredients, because remember that our skin makes its own moisture. The outer layer of our skin is made up of these beautiful ceramides. We have hyaluronic acid naturally in our skin. Our skin creates its own antioxidants and, yes, lipids, just like those ceramides, but also like squalene. Here's a little balance of the triglycerides in your skin. If you want to screenshot that, you're free to do so. But when you're looking for a moisturizer, you want to find one that actually complements your skin and that gives you the ingredients that your skin naturally produces. And then if you want to add on, something that has an acne active like a BHA or salicylic acid, or a wrinkle active like retinoids or peptides, you can totally do that. But you want to start with the basics. Now, when it comes to moisturizer textures, you can also define them in 3 basic types. There's a gel moisturizer, which is usually super lightweight, very watery. There's a medium moisturizer. It has a little bit more fats, a little bit more lipids, and as you can see, it kind of tense up a little bit more on the skin. And then lastly, there are the super, super thick moisturizers, the ones that almost feel like literal frosting, that really coat and nourish the skin to give it hydration, but also lock it all in. These are the ones that feel like butter. And of course, there are so many different options that you can choose from. And while I'm going to share a few favorites, you also want to consider that certain brands actually make moisturizers for multiple skin types. 2 really great examples are beYoutiful, which is a little bit more luxurious and expensive and packaged in these glass bottles. And then another one is Bubble, which is really affordable and fun and donates to teen mental health. For example, right here, this is the Level Up Balancing Moisturizer versus the Slam Dunk Hydrating Moisturizer. I love the application of these because it gives you the perfect amount every time. But do you see the difference between these 2 formulas? The gel is almost more clear, it's very stringy, and it has high water content. 100%. Whereas the cream is much more tinted, it's much thicker, and it has way more oils and lipids. There's similar textural differences with the Biossance, and I do love these, although they are a little bit more pricey. This right here is the Squalane and Probiotic Gel Moisturizer, and as you can see, it's this really lightweight, very water-based gel. It actually feels gorgeous on the skin, and for me, being oily, it soaks right in. But compare that to their Omega Repair Cream, which I am all out of because I use this at night as like a thick moisturizer for my oily-prone skin. This, if I can get a little scraping of it, you can see that it tents up way more. It almost stands up thick and has its own shape and form. And that just shows you how insanely hydrating and lipid dense this one is. And then of course there are some that are right in the middle, these kind of medium weights. These have a very even balance of things such as those water, liquidy, hydrating ingredients and those really oily lipids. And as you can see, these tend to be a little bit more stringy, but they're not clear like those gels. Now again, you don't have to get these moisturizers, but I'll share with you some of my favorite gel moisturizers that I'm loving currently. But you should understand what main ingredients you need and kind of where your skin falls on this scale so that regardless of what you get, you can find something that actually works for you. And the reason that gel moisturizers are so fantastic for oily prone skin is because this gives you light hydration and it actually soaks into the skin as opposed to sitting on top and creating more grease. And some people say that if you hydrate your skin well, it actually stops producing as much oil. That's a myth that I used to believe, but no, just putting on any kind of moisturizer doesn't stop your sebaceous glands from secreting oil. However, if you do look for a moisturizer that has something like zinc PCA, yes, that can actually help control oil or oil balance in the skin, or something like niacinamide. Now we spoke about my favorite Biossance and Bubble Gel moisturizers, but these are two K-beauty options that I love. This right here is the Onion New Pair Gel Cream from Isntree. This is fantastic, especially if you have oily prone and acne prone skin. And this iUnique one is the Calming Centella Gel Cream. I love, love, love this as well. And if you have oily skin that is prone to more redness, this really helps to bring that redness down. As far as some medium weight moisturizers go, I do have some absolute favorites. One is the Strength Trainer from Ulla Henriksen. I love this so much. It smells divine. If you're sensitive to fragrance, you're going to want to avoid this, but this was a bestseller at Sephora because it is literally one of the most beautiful textures. I actually made a skincare routine for someone who used to work at YouTube, and I recommended that she use this moisturizer, and she's told me that she fell in love with this so much that she's repurchased this almost 5 times at this point. This is such an amazing moisturizer. The founder has been in the skincare industry for like 40 years plus. Ulla, he used to like whip up formulations in his kitchen and then ride his bike and deliver them on bike to his clients. But this Strength Trainer moisturizer has peptides. It is so fantastic for the skin, and I love this as like a nice medium weight. But there are of course others, and these two textures I am obsessed with. This right here is a probiotic moisturizer from Skin Chonsa or Skin 1004. And you've heard me talk about this, but this has got to be one of the coolest formulas I've ever used. This right here, literally one of my best purchases I've ever made from Stylevana. And I have purchased multiple bottles of this at this point. It reminds me of a snail mucin cream, but there's no snail in it. And it's actually just a probiotic moisturizer. Now for me, I am more oily prone, but I can get away with using this, especially on some of the drier areas like around my lips. And also I love to use this during the evenings or at night, especially when it's a little bit drier outside or when I'm traveling. This is a fantastic budget option, but if you also wanted to try fermented soybeans, this is a bean cream from Mixsoon. This is also relatively expensive and it also has a very similar texture, but it does have some different ingredients. So depending on what you're looking for in your skincare routine, again, not just your skin type, but those skin conditions on top of it, you may do better with one versus the other. I'm obsessed with this no snail mucin texture, and as someone who doesn't use snail mucin, I'm so happy that I finally have an alternative. And then of course we gotta talk about the thick moisturizers, the thick, chunky, thick. I shared the Bubble and the Biossance, but these are two other fantastic ones. And specifically, if you have like skin irritation or skin concerns, both of these are amazing. Dermalogica is what we use in aesthetics all the time. This is the Stabilizing Repair Cream. This actually has proceramides and cica. Look at how tenty that is. Do you see that? That right there, oh my gosh, it's literally like a line. It's like squeezable butter for your skin. And this is just so amazing. Again, for me on a day-to-day basis, this is way too thick, but I can use this at night on my oily prone skin, almost like a night mask. And it works so well because I wake up with the most hydrated, supple skin. But for someone with dry skin, this could be perfect to use every single day, especially if you have more mature skin. This has those ceramides that really help replenish that outer layer of your skin barrier. And then another fan favorite that constantly sells out at Sephora is the Skin Fix Barrier Plus Triple triple lipid peptide cream. This is so good. Skin Fix is, I believe, a Canadian brand. They're female founded. And I love the pump tops of these because it gives you the perfect amount. But look at that. That's literally like, it's like a butterball. And it's so thick and tenty, and it literally just hydrates and smooths onto the skin. And what's great is that both of these are fragrance free. Both are wonderful. I think both of these are a little bit more on the expensive side. And if you want something that is much less expensive, one of my favorite K-beauty products, I've spoken about this so many times, but the Authentic Barrier Cream from Pure Am. This feels like a memory foam mattress on your skin. It is fluffy, and when you apply it, the texture feels a little bit more dry than something like this that feels moist on the skin, but it still gives you that thick hydration and protection. So depending on the textural feel that you want as well, you may be better suited for this versus this. Now, of course, these are just some options, but there are many others, and the person that actually inspired this video is an amazing content creator and someone that I consider an internet friend, but it's Rachel, the hydration CEO. She actually brought me for the very first time into a Credo Beauty. Can you believe that I've never been into a Credo Beauty? Well, she brought me into one in New York, and she did this amazing video talking about which ordinary moisturizer was right for you, and she went through the different textures in like a 30 to 60 second Instagram reel. And I loved the way she presented that so much that it inspired me to talk a little bit more in depth about some of these formulations and some of these concepts, especially around the lies of skin types and what you need to know. But a huge shout out to her for not only sharing this amazing information, but for inspiring this video. I'm gonna make sure that this is linked below, so please go check her out, show her some love. Let's put some purple hearts in her comments. And if you are interested in the Ordinary's moisturizers, I have videos on those, but like hers did an excellent job really succinctly breaking down the Ordinary's formulas and which one is right for each different skin type. But as I noted, even though these are some of my top picks and some that I recommend all the time as an esthetician, you don't have to use these. Literally, if there's a moisturizer you've been considering or thinking of, put it in the comments right now, and for the first hour after this video drops, I'm going to do my best to respond to as many of them as I can, and so will Aya, our amazing esthetician, which yes, does help our beautiful butterfly community members build skincare routines for free. And that's why I love what I get to do, because how amazing is it that I get to work with amazing people, I get to know amazing internet friends, and we can all do our best to try to help understand and embrace our skin, regardless of where it's at. We can keep it happy and healthy. I'm such a cheese ball. I'm such a vegan cheese ball. I know I am, but I love it. I love what I do, okay? And again, make sure that you have those post notifications turned on to all, so that when I actually post videos, you'll be able to see them. And when I'm in the comments responding, maybe I can respond to yours. But most importantly, always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically, or reapply your SPF, which yes, works over all of these formulas, but there's actually some sunscreens that could replace your morning moisturizer. If you want a video on that, let me know. But most importantly, always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.